And here is a live look at the big board right now. It's trending on the negative side of the Dow. It's the second day of trade talks between the U.S. and China. The two sides are in Stockholm today for their latest round of negotiations. And the hope is to resolve an escalating trade war between the world's two largest economies. And we'll soon know the Federal Reserve's latest decision on what to do about interest rates. The Fed kicks off its two-day meeting today. But first, new numbers just in this morning, giving us a fresh read on consumer confidence. So let's get to CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, good to see you today. What is the latest data telling us?
So consumer confidence overall ticked up a little bit. So how I would sort of characterize this is it was modest, but the good news is overall consumers are feeling better than they were the previous month. Two things that I want to highlight though. If you strip out that overall index and you break it into how people feel about the economy and their situation right now and how they feel about things in 6 months, you do see a bifurcation. So how people feel right now actually ticked down a little bit, and I'll get into why in a second. Whereas how people feel about things or how it's going to look in 6 months, whether that's inflation, the labor market, or their financial situation, that improved a little bit, and that drove that overall improvement across the index. The second thing that I want to highlight, and this is really important going into Friday, is that the reason why this current current feeling of how people are thinking about their financial situation and the economy is they don't feel as good as last month about the labor market. Their feelings about the labor market in terms of how easy it is to get a job, whether they expect more job openings to be out there, declined. Now, why I said that's really important this week is we are going to get the big jobs report come Friday, and that raised a red flag to me because sure, how consumers feel, it doesn't mean that that's actually how the data is going to sort of shake out, but it is anecdotal of how they're feeling in terms of their job search. And it also tracks with some labor market data that we got where job openings actually went down last month. That came out today. That's a different survey. So how I would characterize overall, we got a little bit better, but there are cracks when it comes to the current labor markets in terms of how consumers are feeling.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. So this Wednesday, tomorrow, Kelly, we know the Fed will announce its latest decision on interest rates. So what are you expecting there?
No change. I feel like a broken record the past few Fed meetings. I'm like, no change, Mugo. Yeah. At some point, we'll have a change. But we are not expecting any movement in interest rates. We're expecting Fed Chair Powell and the rest of the board to go with that wait-and-see approach. Remember, we are going to have higher tariff rates come Friday kick in, and we are also seeing the inflation rate tick up a little bit. And so the Fed is going to wait for that jobs report on Friday. They're going to wait for more inflation data. And we're likely looking more at an interest rate cut in September or beyond. The thing that's going to be really important, though, is Fed Chair Powell, he's going to take questions from reporters after. And I'm very keen to hear, is he still expecting 2 interest rate cuts for the remainder of the year? That was what the Fed recently projected. Or is that number in question now? That's going to be what investors are looking at, and any indication that we might get less than 2 could be a little bit of a drag on the market.
All right, we shall wait and see. Kelly O'Grady, thank you so much for joining us today.